A very good morning to all my BCA final year students. Let us commence with your subject of COS, that is Computer Oriented Accounting System. In the previous video or the previous class, we studied about journal entry, and before doing a journalizing a transaction, we have two approaches for the knowing the accounts, particular accounts of particular transactions. The two approaches are, first one is traditional approach, that is real account, nominal account and personal account, and second one is the modern approach, which consists of 6 elements, that is asset, liability, capital, revenue, expenses and losses and contra entry, or we can say contra account. So these are the two basic approaches we need to follow while journalizing a transaction. So let us, we already learned about the accounts which has to be maintained, that is nominal account, personal account and real account. Now we will study about the journalizing a transaction. How do we journalize our transaction? So steps in journalizing. Now, we will study stepwise procedure. How do we journalize a transaction? What is journalizing a transaction again? There in every transaction there is a debit part and a credit part. How do we differentiate according to the traditional approach or the modern approach? According to the traditional approach we have golden rules, and according to the modern approach also we have to how to differentiate between a debit and a credit. So following those rules of traditional approach as well as modern approach, we can journalize the particular transactions. So we have 10 steps in journalizing the transaction. We will study those steps one at a time. So let us study the first step, that is identify the account involved in business transaction. Identify the account involved in business transaction. What do you mean by this sentence? Example: loan taken by Mr. X for business. Loan taken by Mr. X for business. Now, loan itself, we can say loan is the amount of money which we owe to the outside party. So, the first account involved is the loan account. Loan account. And the second is, if we took a loan, there is not any mentioning of cash. But usually when there is loan mentioned, it is usually considered as cash only. So, the second account involved is cash account. So, both are the accounts which are involved in this transaction. So, identifying the account involved in the transaction is very important. Secondly, we can say purchase of furniture for cash. So, here we have two accounts involved. First one is furniture account, second one is cash account. So, we need to identify which are the accounts involved in the process of journalizing or in the transaction itself. So, in a transaction we can see one is the giver, one is the taker. Here we can see the loan account is the giver of the money and the cash we received is the receiver of the money. Here also cash is given and furniture is received. So, always the transaction is classified into two parts, that is one is the giver, one is the taker. So, we have to find out the two aspects first in every transaction. There is always two aspects in every transaction. We have to identify what are the accounts involved. We did not need to know what are the accounts, whether it is a personal account, real account, asset, liability. No, just what are the accounts involved. What are the accounts involved? Example, if it is a loan account or it is a cash account, it is a creditor account, it is a debtor account, or we can say it is proprietor's personal account, it is a capital account, it is a furniture account, it is a plant account, what? So in a transaction there are twofold effects or two accounts involved always. We need to identify the account involved in the business transaction first. That is the first necessary step for journalizing. Nature of account involved. That is real, nominal or personal. So generally when we do accounting, we always follow the traditional part or the traditional method. So we have written real, personal or nominal. So nature of the account. Example I'll give you. Give the example of Rahul started business with cash. So first step is to identify the accounts involved in the business. First is Rahul's account. Second one is cash. So Rahul is a personal account. That is natural personal account. Natural personal account. And cash is a real account. That is tangible real account, because cash is an asset and it can be touched, felt and seen. So it is real account. This is personal account. So we have to identify what is the real account, personal account or nominal account. The second step is this. So according to the identification of the account, we have to identify the nature of the account. That is personal, real or nominal. Now coming to the step 3 part. Ascertain the rule of debit and credit involved in the nature of account. Now, what is the rule of debit and credit? Obviously, real account we have different rule, nominal account we have different rule, and personal account we have different rule. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out, debit the giver, credit the receiver, debit or expenses and losses, credit or incomes and gains. That are the 3 basic rules of the debit and credit according to real account, nominal account and personal account. So we have to identify each individual account, then we have to know the nature of the account, then we have to identify the debit and the credit involvement in the nature of the account. Means what is the rule to be applied for debit and credit in the particular nature of the. To know the debit and credit rule involved in the account, then step 4 is to find out which account to be credited and debited. Example, if we have Rahul commenced a business with cash this much. So Rahul is a personal account, that is a natural personal account, and cash is a real account. So which has to be debited, which has to be credited? We have the rule over here, that is this debit and credit. So after finding it down, we have to find out what is to be debited. It's commencement of a business, what is to be debited, what comes in, what goes out, which is an expense, which is a loss, which is an income, which is a gain, and debit what comes in, credit what goes out, debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains, and lastly debit the receiver and credit the giver. So according to that, we have to find out which account is to be debited and which account is to be credited. Now guys, this is the theory part. When we will do the problem part, or when we will solve the problem, so we will normally or generally can easily find out what is to be debited and credited. There is no need to worry or no need to hurry to know about what is to be done in the debit and credit part of a journal entry. So coming down to the step 5 is to fill the date column with year, month and date. So whenever we write a journal entry, the first part we come across is the date column. Date. So we have to write here the year 2020. Then we have to write the month and the date. It's 6th August. So this is the procedure of writing in a journal entry. This is the normal procedure of writing in a journal entry. Date, we'll first write the year, then we'll write the date. That is 6th August or 6th August. No problem. If you can write 6th, it is okay. We'll write 6th August. That is the name of account to be debited is written first with abbreviation DR to extreme right of same line. So what do we mean by this? Suppose cash account is debited. So how we do it? Write cash account dot DR. This is the process of writing the debit account. This is the process of writing the debit account. There is no inverted commas. Just to explain you, I am writing this. This is the process of writing a debit account. Now coming to the credit account. Step 7. The name of the account to be credited is written with initially to leaving space. So it begins with 2. So cash account debited. So here the credit entry will be 2. Suppose we write the cash account. Cash account debited and we write the credit entry. To furniture account. So this is the way of writing a journal entry. This is the proper way of writing a journal entry. Everywhere when we write a journal entry, the credit account is to be begun with the 2 transaction. The credit account is to be begun with the 2 transaction and the debit has to be end with the DR. There is no CR written in the credit. Remember, there is no CR written in the credit part. It is written with the initial of 2, TO2 and the capital, not small letter, capital 2. And DR also should be a capital D, not a small d, a capital D. Step 8, that is narration. A brief explanation is given after a journal entry. Now what is this brief explanation or narration? That is within inverted commas or within a bracket we'll write a small narration. That is what is the transaction. Suppose commenced a business with cash rupees 50,000. So started business with cash. This part is called the narration part. Means you describe what has been done in the transaction. You describe what has been done in the transaction. That is your step 8. Ledger folio. That is LF. So this is a column. This is column used particular ledgers. Means if there are invoice in a business transaction, So what is the number of the invoice we have to write in this ledger folio column? The work of the ledger folio is this much. The last we can say the final point, that is the step 10. Draw a line after each transaction. So here I am drawing the proper ledger. How do we draw a specimen? First column is the date one, second one is the particular one, third is the ledger folio one, then the debit column, then the credit column. So here is the specimen of journal entry. That is date, particular, LF, debit amount, credit amount. So we write the date 2020, that is 6th August. Commenced up business with cash, so we'll write cash account debited to capital account. Ledger folio, if it is given, you'll write or not. So we'll write the amount 50,000 in the debit part and 50,000 in the credit part. And narration, started business with cash. So this is the total specimen of journal entry. I will teach you each and every individual journal entry by passing time or coming time. This is just an example, so don't need to worry. And these are the basic 10 steps we need to follow while preparing a journal entry. If we concentrate and prepare well, we can easily prepare. For a non-commerce student, it will be very easy to prepare a journal entry or the part of journal entry. So that's all for today's class. We'll continue with your next class in the next video. Thank you one and all.